This episode is about the moment I feel like nobody talks about when your manifestation actually comes through and your nervous system completely floods. When the good thing finally happens and instead of joy, you feel dread, fear, a voice that says, "This ain't going to last." And I'm going to share in this episode the story of the first time I went viral, doubled my following, 10 times my sales almost overnight after 2 years of building in literal relative quiet, and how the headaches, the nausea, and the fear that came with that success were one of the most intense experiences I've ever had. And even though I had been asking exactly for this, it was a reaction that was so unexpected. In this episode, we're going to talk about why this happens and that it's not a weakness. It's actually your nervous system just doing its job, and why so many people on this path tend to self-sabotage right at the moment of breakthrough, and what the game of life actually looks like when the next level loads and the system hasn't caught up yet. I'm also going to talk about the 5 practical ways to move through this, covering like shadow work, nervous system regulation, identity work, somatic release, and learning to receive without bracing for it to be taken away. This is the exact episode I wish existed when everything I'd prayed for finally started showing up. So let's get straight in. Can I ask you something? When is the last time something really good happened, like actually genuinely, undeniably good, and your first feeling wasn't joy? It was dread. It was probably a tightening in your chest, a voice that was like ringing in your ear about how long is this going to last? Yep, that's exactly what we're talking about today, because I think one of the biggest lies in this whole self-development manifestation space is that when your prayers get answered, you finally just float, like you glow and you receive it gracefully and you just enjoy it. But I feel like not enough people talk about what I didn't see coming at all. And that is that for a lot of us, the arrival of the thing we've been asking for is one of the most destabilizing moments of the whole journey. And I know because it happened to me. I went viral, like actually viral, doubled my following. My sales went up about 10 times in like just a 24-hour window after 2 years of building and praying and visualizing and meditating and doing all of the inner work and getting no results. And it happened literally overnight. And I want you to know how I felt, because it's not how I expected. I had a 48-hour headache that would not go away. I had the most intense nausea, genuine fear. My nervous system was absolutely flooded. And I had been manifesting this, like literally visualizing it for 2 years straight. So today, that's what we're unpacking: why your nervous system freaks out so much when good things arrive, what's actually happening in the game of life at that moment, and how we can actually receive what we've been calling in without waiting for it to be ripped away. So 2 years of building, no overnight success, steady, consistent, showing up, even when it felt like literally no one was caring about what I was posting. I had been doing immense inner work, manifestation rituals, visualizations, embodiments, every single thing you could think of under the sun, every single book you could think of under the sun. And then something finally clicked after, all of that hard work and inner work. A video finally went viral and a post of mine finally went effing viral. Like the numbers moved in a way I hadn't seen before. Like these millions of views on multiple of my posts, my following double, sales just flooded in. And from the outside, it is like the dream scenario for anyone, and the thing that I'd been building for and praying for to happen for ages. But what it actually felt like was my body just didn't get the memo that this was good news. Like, I just don't understand why I had such a consistent headache for so long. Like, it was behind my eyes and like in my eyebrows, and like waking up with a yucky stomach, like nausea in my stomach, going to sleep with nausea in my stomach, a tight, like coiled sense of fear in my chest, this like constant hum of what if this disappears? What if things aren't working? What if I can't maintain it? What if I didn't deserve it? How do I keep proving I do? Like there was just, and it wasn't even I had those conscious thoughts. It was all just in my body, and in it was just flowing out of me in this weird way. And I was constantly like refreshing everything and checking if things were good, and like my website was stuffing up and this, that, and the other. It was just hectic time. I was monitoring everything obsessively, checking the numbers, refreshing, watching for things to drop, watching likes go up, completely unable to like sit in the moment and receive it. I was consciously telling myself how much I can hold this and I can hold this and I can bring this in, but my nervous system didn't respond that way. My nervous system was not prepared, and I don't feel like I realized how little I prepared my nervous system for something like this. And what I've come to understand since is that this is not a sign that I wasn't ready at all. It's not a sign that you're, broken or ungrateful in any way. It is just that your nervous system was trying to catch up to a new level that your soul already said yes to. And if you think of life like a game, when you level up, the graphics are going to change. The environment shifts, things move faster, the stakes feel a lot higher. Your nervous system in your avatar is trying to recalibrate to a new normal. And that recalibration, it can feel a lot like danger, even though it is a blessing. And the fear that you feel when good things arrive is not a sign that they're going to leave. It is a sign that you have never been here before. And this is what quantum leaping actually feels like from the inside. It's not this like movie montage like moment. It's a flooding. It's a disorientation. It's a wait, is this real feeling that can be confused with and dressed up as dread. So you are not doing it wrong, and you have just never been on this level before, and like new level, new devil, and your system needs time to learn that this is safe. Okay, why this happens is obviously our nervous systems are wired for survival. Like that is the point. Our avatars have that ingrained in us. They're not wired for joy. They're literally wired for survival, and it doesn't distinguish between danger and unfamiliarity. The quote that I always get a lot of comments about whenever I talk about it is, we prefer an unfamiliar hell over a familiar heaven. And that is because our nervous system loves predictability and just wants to feel safe. So when things suddenly expand, more visibility, more money, more attention, more responsibility, your system is going to scan the environment and say, this is unknown. Unknown equals potential danger, and then alarm bells go off. And this is why people self-sabotage at the exact moment of the breakthrough. It's the body doing what it was designed to do, to protect you from that unfamiliar. But there is a window of tolerance, the range where your system feels safe. And that has to be stretched slowly, like a rapid expansion. A rapid expansion going viral, a sudden income jump, an unexpected opportunity can blow right past your current window and tip you into that sense of overwhelm, even when the cause is technically good. So your body genuinely cannot tell the difference between a threat and a miracle if it has never experienced either before. The physical sensations, the nausea, the headaches, the tight chest, the vigilance, are identical for a reason. Okay, here is where we need to go a little deeper, because the nervous system flooding is just the surface, right? Underneath it, there is almost always a shadow belief that good things don't last for you specifically. It might sound something like, things always go wrong when they're going well for me. Or I don't have this kind of life where this sticks and stays around. Or even people like me don't get to have this level of success. Or how am I meant to maintain this? I don't think I have the capacity to be able to do this now that it comes in. That belief didn't come from nowhere. It's obviously come from somewhere, and it's a pattern you witnessed, an experience that confirmed it, and a story that somewhere has been handed down through your lineage and your childhood. And the fear isn't really about your following or your income or whatever has arrived in your manifestation. The fear is, I don't trust that I'm the kind of person who gets to keep good things. And that is the work, not the positive thinking your way out of it, not manifesting harder, actually looking and shining a light on where the belief came from and releasing it. And there's also an identity gap that opens up when manifestations arrive. You built your identity around being the person who is trying, who is building, who is working towards a thing, who's in the in-between. And then when it arrives and suddenly you're like, who am I? The person who has it. Like, it's confusing to your system. And that gap between who you believed yourself to be and who you have to become to receive and hold this is a real big jump, and it can be very destabilizing, even though it's everything you've always asked for. So the version of you who gets to keep this has to be different from the version who called it in, and that transition happens in the body before it actually happens in the mind. Okay, so here is what to actually do about it. There are 5 tools, like real tools, that I've been using in my life to help me receive what I've been calling in and actually trust that it's mine to keep. So way number 1 is shadow work. So find the belief underneath the fear. And I actually do shadow work sessions with my clients on manifestations as well. We do power hours. So if you would love to do one of those with me and actually dive into this for real, absolutely check out the show notes for the link for that. So when fear hits, The instinct is to push through it, to paste over it, to reframe it. And you cannot do that because before you do anything else, you have to get curious and shine a light on what's underneath. So you need to ask yourself these specific questions, whether that's out loud or just on paper. And it also sometimes helps to talk to someone else about it because they can see things that you can't. So why does this being permanent matter so much to me? The next question is, one, when was the first time I decided I wasn't someone good things stayed for? The next is, what have I seen in my family about whether people like us get to have nice things, success, visibility, money, etc.? What do I believe will be taken from me if I let myself fully receive this? Write the answers down. Do not filter it. Do not overthink it. The shadow belief is usually in the first thing you write before your brain talks you out of it or makes you your logical mind talks you out of it. So once you've named it, physically release it, write it on paper, and burn it. Watch the smoke dissolve into energy that is no longer inside you. It feels performative, but like rituals create actual neurological anchors, and the act of burning creates such a somatic sense of release that just affirmations alone absolutely cannot do. And when I dug into my viral moment of fear, I found a lineage pattern, like generations of my family who have never, ever backed themselves, who have always stayed small to stay safe. And I was the first one jumping, and part of my system was terrified of breaking that pattern. And I had no one to look up to, no evidence that this was going to work for me. But once I named that, I could release it, and burning it was such a ceremonial closing of that chapter to know that I can do this and to see that energy literally dissipate out of my body and into like the energy field, not inside my energy field. Okay. Way number 2 is nervous system regulation. So you cannot think your way out of a nervous system response. You have to work with the body, not just the mind, because our mind can think one thing, but our body reacts in another way. So the somatic tools that actually work here, obviously the usual ones like box breathing can really help. This directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system and takes you out of fight or flight. Body scanning is great, sitting still and consciously moving your awareness through your body from your head to your feet, noticing where you're holding fear, breathing into that place specifically. And you're actually teaching your system that you can be present with that sensation without it being like this big emergency. Another one that's really random is like cold water on the wrists and face, like a quick nerve reset when you're deep in the spiral. I find that really helps when it's really bad. Shaking, obviously dancing. I, in labor, actually listened to like full house music and techno music and like clubbing music because I found that that was like an animal releasing stress out of my body, and like trauma is stored in tension and shaking releases it. And this beautiful meditative state for me in labor was not getting the energy out of me that I wanted. So yes, listening to beautiful meditation and doing your breathing and your body scans are great. But if it's bad enough where you just need it out, shaking your body and listening to something like really intense music is sometimes the most therapeutic and releasing way to get stuck energy out of your body. Like everything is energy and emotions are just energy in motion. So to get them out, you have to move. So the goal of all of this is not to make the feeling stop. Absolutely not. It's to widen your window of tolerance, to like slowly stretch the capacity of your nervous system to stay regulated in expanded circumstances. So the more that you regulate yourself, the more your body learns that that level is now safe and that level is home now. And a practical tip that I've just done in my life is like build a 5-minute morning regulation practice during the period of a big expansion. Like your system needs consistent proof that the new level is safe, not just like this one-off reassurance. Okay, way number 3 is identity work. So you have to become the person who gets to keep this. The fear of good things not lasting is often rooted in a self-concept that hasn't caught up to the new reality. Like absolutely. You've manifested the thing, but your identity still belongs to the version of you who has been waiting for it. And this is where your self-concept work becomes urgent, not optional, because you need to ask yourself, who is the version of me that has this and knows it's hers? Not the version who's waiting for it or hoping for it or checking if it's still there. Like the version who simply knows, who is so certain. What does she now believe about herself? How does she talk about her life? What does she stop doing? What does she start doing without second guessing it? And if you can start to act that way even before things arrive, that's when manifestations come in and you don't feel this sense of fear and this overwhelm. Like, write her out in detail and then start acting as her as much as possible, even in really small ways, even when it feels obviously like you're pretending and you're a bit delusional. Like, you are pretending, you are practicing, but your nervous system will eventually catch up to that new character that you are embodying. And a powerful reframe that I've used is the manifestation arriving doesn't mean the work is done. It just means you've earned the right to do the next level of the identity work. So you're not relaxing into it, you're expanding into a new version of yourself. And that's like a forever process. So there's no need to you have to stop waiting for external validation to tell you it's real. Like, the number is real, the sale is real, the opportunity is real. The job is to agree with reality, not to keep questioning whether it's going to stay or go. Okay, way number 4 is reframe the game. Like, you're at a new level now. You're not under threat. So when you think of things in the game of life lens, it is genuinely the fastest freaking way to get a perspective shift when you're in a spiral. When you up level in a video game, obviously the environment's going to change. The challenges are going to increase. The visual field is going to shift around you. Things are going to feel faster. They're going to feel more intense. And for like that split second, you might even think like, I was safer on the last level. Like, I wish I could go back to the easier level. I knew how to navigate that level. This one's very overwhelming, but you don't go back because you know this is just what a new level feels like. You have gotten through every single level before this one. Your track record is perfect. The fear you feel when the good thing arrives is just the new level loading. The headaches, the nausea, the monitoring obsessively, that is your system adjusting to the new terrain. It's not a warning sign. It's not a growing pain. And so practically, when the fear hits, I want you to say out loud or write it, this is just the new level loading. I have gotten through every level before this. I am safe. Then breathe and then regulate and then act from identity. The game of life doesn't give you levels you can't handle, guys. It will only give you levels that require the next version of you that you're ready to step into, which means that there are always going to be a little uncomfortable and are always going to be a little unfamiliar, but they are always going to be survivable. Okay, and now way number 5 is practice receiving, like fully let yourself have it without any conditions. And I think this is the one that most people tend to skip because it sounds really simple, but it is genuinely one of the hardest ones because most of us have practiced wanting really great. We're brilliant at wanting. We vision board and we journal and we embody and we call it in, but we haven't practiced receiving it without immediately bracing for the loss of it. Like, receiving mode is such a skill and it requires you to let the good thing be good without hedging it, like without monitoring for when it's going to end or without pre-grieving it before it's even gone, like preparing yourself for the worst. And a practical example of how I do a receiving practice is when something good happens, like a win, a sale, a beautiful moment, even like a kind DM or a comment, stop. Fully stop. Put your hand on your heart, take 3 slow breaths and let your body register what it was, that is real and it is mine and I'm allowed to feel good about it right now. That is training your nervous system to let joy land in your body. Most of us, and I can guarantee you've probably done it before, we deflect compliments, we deflect anything good because we want to minimize it, especially in Australia, like the tall poppy syndrome. It's like, we just say things like, oh, it's not that big a deal, or you explain it away with like, oh, it was just luck, or immediately project forward to when it might end, like, oh, this is only going to last this long. The receiving practice interrupts that like immediate habit and reflex. And I want you to extend this into like a daily gratitude practice almost that's like quite somatic, like not just cognitive. Don't just list what you're grateful for, like actually feel it in your body, deep in your core. Put your hand on your chest and say like, this is mine. I built this. I called this in. I did this. I get to have this and hold this. And over time, you're going to build a memory of receiving. Your system's going to stop treating good things as, accidents or mistakes or anomalies and start treating them as the normal. And that is when the fear stops flooding you, not because the fear was wrong, but because your body has enough evidence that the good things do last and more of them keep coming. Obviously, new level, new devil, you're always going to feel these things. However, when you can reframe your perspective, you're going to have a much more enjoyable experience and you're not going to again manifest to actually lose these things because your body and your nervous system can't hold them. Here is basically what I want you to know from this episode. The moment your manifestation arrives and the fear floods in, that is not the universe telling you to brace yourself. That is the universe testing whether you've done enough inner work to actually receive it. You have been in preparation mode for so long, trusting, waiting, building, doing the rituals and saying the prayers and holding the vision when it felt like absolutely shit all was happening. And now when something is happening and your nervous system is panicking, that is okay, but I need you to hear me and you're allowed to have this. This is not a fluke. It is not borrowed time. This is the game progressing exactly as it is supposed to, and you have earned your place at this level. The fear that it won't last is just the old version of you, the one who had to survive with less, the one who built her whole identity around this manifestation and trying to come with you somewhere she doesn't belong anymore. You don't take that version into the next level. You thank her, you release her, and you step into the woman who knows that good things don't just come to her, they stay. Because here is the biggest truth about manifestation that nobody puts on their vision board. The universe doesn't take things back. You either hold the frequency to keep them or you self-sabotage back to familiar ground. The question is never whether you deserve it. You deserve everything, your infinite universal life force. The question is whether you'll let yourself receive it. So whatever has arrived for you, whatever you've been calling in for months or years and is now in your 3D reality, I want you to put your hand on your heart. I want you to take a breath and say out loud that this is mine. I called this in and I'm ready to receive it. That's the work. That is the most important work. I love you. Go do the thing and I'll see you in the next episode. If this episode did hit home, please screenshot it, share it, and send it to a friend who needs it right now. And if you want to go deeper on receiving and identity work and shadow work, you can always come and book a one-on-one client session with me where I dive into this for you specifically. And as always, leave a review if this show is part of your spiritual practice. It helps so many more women find it, and that would just make me so grateful. And again, every single episode for the last 3 weeks has been sent to me via a DM on Instagram, and this is exactly the same. I had a DM just recently asking me about this concept, and it's been so beautiful to align my episodes to what you guys actually want. So please don't feel afraid to come on to my Instagram and tell me what you'd love me to talk about next. See you next week, my loves.